Welcome back to Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, where the third race of the weekend will shortly be underway. And this one promises to have a little bit of extra spice in it, because the DTM car of should be Hugo Chevalier will be starting at the back of the grid. So quite a bit of work to do from what will be 24th, I believe. Depends on how many of the cars that didn't make the start of race 2 have been able to be repaired and take the start for this one. So that means it's Jimmy Lemunier who starts on pole position for the Craft Racing squad. And Jerome Andre on the front row of the grid in the Historic and Race Cars Codis ASP Mercedes. There'll be a gap on the grid where Lars Schofield was due to start from third. His SR&R Ferrari not competing in the rest of the weekend. So that will effectively promote Henri Desertou. Seb Ligier in the 34. His eponymous team wrapped up his 24-hour series campaign at the 24 Hours of Barcelona with Stefan Perrin and Paul Meyer. Second in the 992 AM Championship this year was that team. So the 1 minute board displayed to get race 3 underway. Fantastic mix of various different GT machines. Got a mix of GT3 machinery from Renault, Mercedes and Lamborghini, and also the Ferrari 430 as well. So, Ferrari Challenge, Porsche Cup machinery and Super Trofeo as well. We have some GT4 cars. Formation lap gets underway. And Jimmy Lemunier leads them onto the warm-up lap. It's unusual to see those cars still around. They were initially developed for Renault Sport Trophy and later homologated into GT3 spec with a detuned engine and added weight. So Jimmy Lemunier and Jerome Andre. Then there'll be a gap on the grid where Lars Schofield should be. And I haven't yet seen if Olivier Morahan's made the grid either. No. So there's going to be Henri Desertou and then Seb Ligier, I thought. Maxime Lieutenant in the first of the Super Trofeo cars from CMR. Then Lucas Azerto in the Kessel Run Ferrari Challenge, Alexis Berthe from CMR in the Super Trofeo, and Stefan Perrin in the second of the Seb Ligier Racing Cars, ahead of Jean-Paul Dominici in the Giselle run car, David Fav in the CKCT Sport Lamborghini Huracan, Pierre Macchi in the Schumacher Autosport GP Super Trofeo, Frank Bellard in the Racing Technology Porsche, Patrick Michelier in another CMR car, Ferrari, Romeo Lior, best of the GT4 cars, ahead of Charles Benezek, Porsche Cup car, and Maurizio Fondi in the Ferrari Challenge car, and then Laurent Prunet in the Porsche, Francois Denis and Pierre Aru in a pair of Audis, Frédéric Delpy in the Porsche, and then Gregoire Benedet should round out the grid, the number 96 F40. Oh, and then Eric Debardias at the back of the grid with no Jeremy Calasson. Had to withdraw after crashing the Bentley Continental in qualifying. So keep an eye on the timing screen is still saying Eric Debard, but it should be Hugo Chevalier at the wheel of the DTM car at the back of the grid. So there you can see it's going to be Henri Desertot trying to leave a gap to where Lars Schofield should be. Still have to go through the grid hatchings when they go across the line. So Jimmy Leminier, former Vortex racer and French rally driver, the Craft Racing Renault RS01, will open up the taps on the Nismo 3.8 litre twin turbo V6, but it's the 6.2 litre V8 of Jerome Andre in the Mercedes that does get the better launch and manages to outdrag the Renault into the first corner. And so it is the Historic and Race Cars, the Exacodis ASP Mercedes AMG, that leads, and Seb Lejoux managing to take the Porsche Cup lead away from Henri Desertot. Straight away into the first corner. In the number 34 car, see Stefan Perrin trying to get around one of his class rivals as well. I think Jean-Paul Dominici having a run at Perrin. And they have got one of the Super Trofeos in amongst them as well, which should be the Alexis Berthet car, I'd have thought. The chicane for the first time, no number on the front of that Super Trofeo, which is mildly irritating for us here in the booth. You can see the Super Trofeo getting over the curbing, trying to get around the Porsche Cup cars. Should, in theory, be quicker. But, oh, spin for the leader though. Jerome Andre out of scene corner and into the barriers. And that is going to be an early end to the day for that car. I'd have thought yellow flags are out. That was losing the back end out of scene corner. It's a fast place to have a crash. And the safety car, unsurprisingly, has been called for. So he's wide through scene corner. Gets onto the runoff area, hits one of the floppy markers as well, and there was not going to be any saving that, and then backwards into the barrier. So under safety car conditions, so that means Jimmy Leminier now leads ahead of Seb Lejoux, Alexis Berthet, Henri Desertot Stefan Perrin, Jean-Paul Dominici. It's 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top 6 for the Porsche Cup category. Lucas Azoto in the Casso car. Pierre Machi, David Favre, and Maxime Lieutenant in the top 10. Romeo Lior leads in the GT4 category. The Mirage racing car, it's the same car that competed in the French and European GT4 championships this year. David Levy and Jody Schloss. But it was the sister car, the Stanislav Safronov and Alexandre Van Troob car, that took the Pro-Am honours in both French and European GT4 this year. Romeo, the 16-year-old from Le Mans, in his just finished his second year in French F4, second year of car racing, and his first appearance in GT4 machinery this weekend. That's Jerome Andre out of the car and just getting directions back to the paddock. See the previous generation Porsche Cup car, the 991.2. Charles Benazage, Sprint Challenge France racer. Very much the amateur prelude to Carrera Cup from Porsche. And I was talking about this yesterday, about how it's interesting how you look at a race car in its time and think, God, that is the pinnacle of what a brand can do, and then suddenly you actually see that something new comes out, and within a year the old one starts to look like a bit of a toy. So it still says Eric Depard. I can only assume it's Hugo Chevalier, unless they've completely pulled Hugo out of the event. Nothing on the channels to suggest that that is the case, though, and so yeah, we'll just say that the DTM car is in 12th position now. So we had 4 non-starters, in fact, in this one. So in addition to Lyle, Schofield, Olivier Morahan and Jeremy Clausen, Pierre Roux has also withdrawn from the event. So I'll take no further part in this weekend by the looks of it.
Abandon donc du pilote de la numéro 89 qui restait sur 2 podiums consécutifs, mais qu'on espère revoir en pleine forme au départ de la 4e course. La voiture devrait être évacuée assez vite. Le chrono continue à tourner avec 25 minutes. Il reste maintenant 18. Et rien n'avait changé puisque Chevalier et Ricard. Et pour l'instant, au milieu de classement, suite à
Jimmy Laminier, the head of the field, talking about the rarity of those Renault RS01s. In fact, Frank Gallieg was telling us I think only 30 of them were made, so it's quite extraordinary that we have 2 of them, in fact, this weekend, both from Craft, one competing here in GT Sprint, the other competing in Kennel GT Endurance Cup, which has qualifying later on today.
Classé dans cette épreuve. Catégorie Porsche Challenge, on l'a dit, avantage à Sébastien Loeb, derrière Henri de Zoute, Stéphane Perrin, Jean-Paul Dominici, Franck Bénard, Charles Bénézec. Catégorie UCS2, Alexis Berthet devant Pierre Paqui.
Another lap under the safety car then. It's 9 minutes into the race now. Okay, apparently it is Eric Debard at the wheel of the DTM car, and that is part of the reason why it started at the back of the grid. So yeah, Chevalier seemingly being parked for this one. I do love that the DTM car does seem to be drowning everything else out, even at safety car speeds. You can hear the pops and bangs from the side exhausts. 4-litre V8 in front of that C63.
Vous les voyez sur la piste, ils continuent de zigzaguer pour garder les pneumatiques à une température.
And another lap of safety car then.
Par la chicane nord, mais imaginez quand on a la
Clearly there is an issue with the extraction of the Mercedes.
Avec des pneus encore froids dans le premier tour, ça passe en délicatesse. Et malheureusement, ce n'est pas passé pour Jérôme André qui était en tête de cette épreuve et qu'on espère revoir.
Safety car in this lap, though, so that is good news.
Avec toujours la Renault RS01 de grave. En tête de cette course devant Sébastien Loeb, Alexis Berthet, en tête de Stéphane Perrin dans le top 5 et dans le top 10 de Jean-Paul.
So a reminder, Jimmy Laminier leads the Porsche Cup leader, Seb Ligier, Alexis Berthet, the first of the Super Trofeos, and then 3 Porsche Cup cars, Linus Stern, Henri Desertot. For Schumacher Imsa, and then the second of the Seb Ligier cars, Stéphane Perrin. Jean-Paul Dominici for Giselle, and Lucas Azzetto in the Kessel Ferrari in 7th. First of the Ferraris, Pierre Macchi in the second of the Lamborghinis. And then David Favre in the Huracan GT3 car, Maxime Lieutenant in the Super Trofeo, Eric Debard in the DTM car, Patrick Michelier, Maurizio Fondi, and then into the GT4 cars, which is Romeo Lior for Mirage Racing, the Aston Martin, Frederic Delpy in the JSR Experience car, Porsche, the 555 Speed car, Audi of Francois Denis. So after about 14 minutes under the safety car here, we are finally going to be getting back underway again. So safety car peels off to driver's right, and Jimmy Laminier will once again open up the taps on the twin-turbo V6 Renault. And the race finally gets back underway. So Laminier leads Seb Ligier, Alexis Berthet. Game on in the battle for second, third and fourth in the Porsche Cup category. Here's Laminier who holds the advantage. Former French rally driver. And Henri Desertot coming under big pressure from Stéphane Perrin and Jean-Paul Dominici. And it's a class battle between those 3 cars going through the hotel chicane and out of turn 5. Yellows at turn 1 though, and no clear indication as to what that is about. Green flag's now waving anyway. Here comes Jean-Paul Dominici trying to pass Stéphane Perrin into the chicane. Draws just a front element overlap over the Seb Ligier racing car. As they exit the chicane, that's given Henri Desertot quite a bit of breathing space in second position in that category. So Dominici again looking for every which way past the 888 car. Can't be careful because here comes Lucas Azzetto as well. Much narrower line for Jean-Paul Dominici trying to get around Stéphane Perrin. Was part of the Creventic lineup with Seb Ligier and Paul Meyer this year, on their way to second in the AM Championship. And here comes Eric Debard, continuing to muscle his way through the field, very nearly making contact with Azzetto's Ferrari. Side by side for third position, and on the outside Jean-Paul Dominici does manage to get that move done in the Giselle Technology run car. used to seeing them run Alpine machinery, but here with Porsche Cup car. Eric Debard now up into 8th position ahead of the 2 Lamborghini Super Trofeo cars that are battling for 2nd and 3rd in their class. Pierre Macchi from Schumacher Autosport GP and the Alliance Passion Racing car of Maxime Lieutenant. Making his way now past the those Porsche Cup cars that were squabbling. Just gone round Stefan Perrin with Jean-Paul Dominici. Not even in front of him anymore. It's the pace difference between those 2 types of car. So Debard now onto the back of Henri Desertot. It's another place gained for the Carrera Cup France AM champion of this year. Debard now onto the back of Alexis Berthet and going through. Almost feels like a handicap race that you get in some historic series where you have your first race on pure pace and then they calculate the pace of that car and you start with a delay in accordance to how much quicker that car is. And so I think Eric Debard come up through the field and 3.5 minutes to go up into 3rd position, and sure still does have the pace to win the race. He's quicker than anything else out there, but he's been doing it while going through traffic as well, so I imagine there will be some pace left in hand. 2 laps to go. Debard now goes into 2nd place. Big chunk on the curb, and it's 8 seconds to Jimmy Lemunier, with nearly 2 laps to try and catch him up. Oh, that might complicate matters. Charles Benezek spun at turn 15, final corner, but does manage to get it pointed in the right direction again. So that's the sister car from Racetivity, the previous generation Porsche, and 1.2. And someone needs to have a word with SR&R and talk to them about putting a 0 on the front of that car. But there is the replay of Benezek's spin. Bard immediately going 2 seconds quicker than Ligier on that previous lap, and is 2 seconds up on this lap so far as well. So final lap of the race, and the gap 4.8 seconds, and he was 3.5 seconds quicker on that previous lap. This might actually be quite close for Jimmy Ligier and de Bard. This really is, yeah, turning into a handicap race, isn't it? 3.3 seconds at the gap, as he pulled 1.6 in the first sector alone. Interestingly, Eric not using the DRS, give himself every advantage. 15 kilometers an hour, that's worth, down the straight. I think maybe he did eventually open it down the straight, just not as soon as they got off the corner. The gap continues to decrease as we have a few corners to go now. It's another second that de Bard has pulled in the middle sector, but it's 2.2 with one sector remaining. The question is, can Jimmy Ligier just hang on to this? Did that safety car stay out for one lap too long to prevent de Bard from pulling off a last to first victory? I'm sure Ligier will be seeing that bright orange Mercedes getting bigger and bigger and bigger in his mirrors. But as Ligier comes out of the final corner, de Bard is not in striking distance, and it will be victory in race 3 of Ultimate GT Sprint Cup for Jimmy Ligier by only 0.6 of a second in the end to Eric de Bard. Sébastien Loeb will take the Porsche Cup honours and third position overall, ahead of Alexis Berthet, who takes the UCS2 honours in the CMR Super Trofeo. Sébastien will be joined on the podium by Henri Desato from Schumacher IMSA, and the Chazelle technology car of Jean-Paul Dominici. Lucas Azato takes the Ultimate Cavallino Tridente Cup honours once again, ahead of Stéphane Perrin. The UCS2 podium completed by Maxime Lieutenant from Alliance Passion Racing and Pierre Macchi from Schumacher Autosport GP. And that completes the top 10 as well. UCS3 once again won by Romeo Lior from Mirage Racing. Double victory for the young Frenchman, and be joined on the podium by Laurent Prunet and Francois Denis. So that's those last UCS3 cars across the line. 20 to the flag in the end. And we will hear from Jimmy.
Azato, Patrick Michelier, Maurizio Font.
Yeah, while Jimmy Laminier makes his way back into pit lane, we'll hear from him with Alexander Ban down there in Parc Ferme. One more race to come for Ultimate GT Sprint Cup this afternoon.
Pas dû être facile pour Jimmy Laminier de remporter cette victoire. Jimmy, vous aviez la DTM qui revenait seconde après seconde sur vous, vous avez résisté jusqu'au bout et vous allez chercher cette victoire au scratch.
Il fallait tout, hein. On avait parié sur la stratégie safety car, donc apparemment le dieu de la piste nous a entendus. Ouais, il fallait pas un tour de plus, après on s'est rentré dans la bagarre et ça aurait été très difficile. Vraiment, il y a un gros gap de performance et je suis content qu'on ait réussi à aller jusqu'au bout en attaquant à fond.
Et retrouver une victoire, au général, ça procure quelles émotions?
Bah, c'est superbe, ça fait plaisir à toute l'équipe, ça remercie tout le monde pour le travail engagé, le temps qu'on a passé, les heures de développement, donc c'est super pour tout le monde.
Merci Jimmy, puis on va essayer d'avoir une petite réaction avec Sébastien Loeb sur le podium général et vainqueur en catégorie Porsche Cup. Seb, une belle course, on vous a vu enchaîner les dépassements, être capable, bon, la DTM c'était dur d'y résister, mais pour le reste c'était sympa.
On a attendu qu'elle passe, comme ça elle pouvait faire son chemin pour aller chercher la même catégorie, c'était plus facile. Après ils n'ont pas eu de chance, avec le safety car ça n'a pas permis de pouvoir revenir vite. Petite course de 12 minutes, c'était pas très long.
Puis on vous connaît maintenant plus sur l'endurance. Pour vous qui adorez ces moments de push, ces courses sprint comme ça, c'est quand même fait pour vous.
Oui, ça fait un bon entraînement, c'est toujours sympa, j'aime bien. Ça me rappelle la Carrera Cup.
Et puis un petit mot aussi sur Stéphane qui fait de belles performances et qu'on est ravis d'avoir eu tout au long de l'année en catégorie Porsche Cup et qui est le champion de cette catégorie.
Tout à fait, c'est le champion de cette catégorie et Stéphane s'amuse, je pense, bien. Bon, quand je suis en course, c'est compliqué. Et il a deux courses où il peut faire la différence et aller chercher la première place.
Merci Sébastien. Et puis nous, on va se quitter quelques instants et se retrouver pour la course d'European Sprint Prototype Cup.
we gonna